Hey everyone, thanks for joining and welcome to the Hexakai Daily Puzzle playthrough for December 26, 2024. This is going to be on a board of size 9 rated at medium difficulty. If you're new to Hexakai, Hexakai is a Sudoku-inspired game of hexagons played on a roughly diamond-shaped hexagonal grid. It comes in a variety of board sizes. In this case, the board is of size 9, which means that the center row and all of the diagonals each have 9 cells, and each cell can have a value ranging from 0 through 8 for a total of 9 values. Similar to Sudoku, each row has to have all unique values, and the center row has to have every value exactly once. But unlike Sudoku, we have 2 diagonal directions instead of 1 column direction, and both diagonal directions also have to have every value exactly once. I have more on the rules and on strategies for solving Hexakai boards in the description below. And if you want to give this puzzle a shot for yourself first, I have a link to that in the description as well. Or you can go to hexakai.com or get the Android iOS apps, navigate to the Daily tab up here, and select today's puzzle from there. So with that, let's get started. So this board, it almost looks like black licorice with the color scheme and everything, which is cool. But I was going to say this board has a generator pattern, it looks like, where we skip diagonals like this. So there's too many cells because it's medium difficulty. We can't have just diagonals, so some of them overflowed into some of the other diagonals. But it roughly follows this pattern of empty, filled, etc. So that should make for an interesting gameplay experience. The way the cells are filled in has a huge impact on the way the game feels as you're playing it, and the difficulty you may have in certain sections of the board. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this particular board plays out. Typically I like to start by doing the center row, but we can start on this diagonal here though, which is only missing 2 cells. Actually, That's already one of the funny things about this generator pattern. It's only missing 2 cells, but these diagonals only have 1 cell in each of them, so we still may not be able to fill this one out. Typically, it's very easy to fill out diagonals where only 2 cells are missing, but let's give it a shot anyway. This has 6, 3, 1, 0, 5, 8, 2. 4 and 7 are missing. Right, so here, there's nothing we can do. This is a 4 or a 7. So I'm going to pencil that in. Here, let's see, there's a 5, 0, 8, yep, 4 or 7, so it looks like slicing diagonals in this direction won't be of much help to us at first. We couldn't fill in anything there, so I wonder if I can actually do this one next. There's a 5 out of 9 missing, but we have a lot of information in the intersecting diagonal, so we still might be able to do it. So I'm going to try that one. We have 4, 2, 1, 6, 0, 3, 0, 3, 5, 7, 8. Yep. So we have a 0 here, 3, 7, 5. Okay, this one has to be an 8. I'll mark that in green just to note to myself that that's a definite assignment. 0, 3, 5, 7. Let's see, 0, 5, 7. This one has to be a 3. 0, 5, 7. This one can be any of them. 0, 5, 7. Let's see, 7, 5. This one has to be a 0. So then I can remove this pencil marking here. That just leaves 5 and 7. There's a 5 here, making this one a 7. Making this one a 5. So even though there were 5 out of 9 missing instead of just 2, the fact that there's so much more happening in the intersecting diagonals meant that we were able to get all of them, even though we couldn't get any of these. I think now I'm going to try in this direction with using these new cells that we just filled in. So I have a good feeling about this diagonal here. There's 4 missing, but there's a lot of action in the intersecting diagonals. We have 8, 0, 6, 7, 3. 1, 2, 4, and 5 are missing. Yep. And I can already see a 1, 2, and a 4, making this one definitely a 5. Leaving 1, 2, and 4. 2. This one can be a 1 or a 4. What about here? 1. This one's going to be a 2 or a 4. 4, and this one, 4, 2. Oh, this one has to be a 1, actually. So we can update this now. This has to be a 4. And then this one has to be a 2. Alright, so we got all 4 of those in. I think I'll do this one next, actually. This one only has 3 missing, so we should be fine doing that one. We have 3, 2, 4, 7, 0, 1. 5, 6, and 8 are missing. So we have an 8 and a 5 here, making this one a 6. That leaves 5 and 8. There's a 5 here, making this one an 8. Making this one here a 5. Alright, that's good. Next, this one, we might as well just keep going in order while we can. 54832 7. This one can be a 0 or 1. So I'll pencil that in. Let's see, 7, 1. This one has to be 0. Which actually means we can just go back, assign this one a 1. Actually, I've made a mistake. Let me roll that back. 0, 1, 6, 7. There's a 6 here. A 7. So that was correct, 0, 1. I think I forgot about the 6 here. So we still have 0, 1, 6, 7, 1, 7, 0. Yeah, I fumbled that one. This one's definitely a 6. That leaves 0, 1, 7. There's a 0 there. This one can be a 1 or a 7. What about here? 1. This one can be a 0 or a 7. Okay, so we got one of them. That's not bad. I want to switch directions now. This one only has 3 missing. I just want to see if we can get something there, even though it's not taking advantage of these. We have 1, 7, 8, 2, 6, 4, 0, 3, 5. There's a 0 here. This one can be a 3 or a 5. What about here? 0, 3, 3, 5. This one has to be 0. And that leaves 3 or 5. 5 here, so this one's definitely a 3. So this one is definitely a 5. Okay, that's good. So we got all of them. I'll go this one next. There's 3 missing. We have a 0, 8, 7, 1, 5, 6. 2, 3, and 4. Yep. We have a 3, 4 here, making this one a 2. And that leaves 3 and 4. There's a 4 here, so that makes this one a 3. And that makes this one a 4. Might as well just knock out the next one if we can. There's 4 missing. We have 7, 6, 5, 2, 0. 1, 3, 4, 8. Yep, 1, 3, 4, 8. 1, 8. This one can be a 3 or a 4. What about here? 3, 4, 8. This one has to be a 1. 3, 4, 8. There's a 4 and an 8, making this one a 3. That makes this one definitely a 4. And then the one here, definitely an 8. So we got that. Oh, wait a minute. Since we have a 4 there, now we can also call this one a 7. And this one a 4. So we finally solved that very first diagonal that we set out to do. Now there's a few different ways we could proceed. I think it's going to be fastest if I just proceed with these 2, and then we can have enough information to fill those 2. Because however we slice it, we either have in this direction 4 diagonals to do, or in this direction 3. I'm going to opt for the 3. So I'll start with this one. We have 4 missing. We have 2, 1, 0, 4, 5, 3, 6, 7, 8. Yep, 6, 8, 7. This one has to be a 3. That leaves 6, 7, 8. What about here? 6, 7. This one has to be an 8. Leaving 6 and 7. There's a, let's see. This one can be a 6 or a 7. We can't filter out anything. Oh, but then we can. There's a 7 there, so this one has to be a 6, right? Because of that 7, so then this one becomes a 7. So I got the full diagonal. And since we got the 7 here, this one becomes a 1. This one has to become a 0. And then this one has to become a 7. That's why it's good to pencil mark in values when you don't have anything conclusive. Then that lets us go back like we just did and fill in the entire thing. We were able to fill in that entire diagonal just from that one assignment of a 7 here. So, last but not least, we have the bottom left column. We have 4, 5, 3, 8, 7, 0, 1, 2, 6 are missing. So there's a 6, 1, 2, 0. That leaves 1, 2, 6. There's a 1, 2, making this one a 6. Then we have a 1 here, making this one a 2. And finally, we have the last value, which is a 1. Let's zoom out, make sure we got everything. Alright, looks good. I'm going to submit, see if we got the right answer. Yes, we did. Very nice. So we got that in about 12 minutes, maybe a little bit less. Now, it was a puzzle rated as medium difficulty on a board of size 9. If I'm able, I'm going to continue with the daily puzzle playthroughs every day, at least up until the new year, or slightly farther. So be sure to subscribe and follow along for more daily puzzle playthroughs, as well as you can always view the past playthroughs through the daily section here, right? Watch playthrough. Most of the days in the last week I've had playthroughs live. Typically I put the playthroughs up once a week during non-holiday seasons, so even then there'll be something to follow along with. And in the meantime, you can always play some of the other daily puzzles, get them a shot for yourself as well. And occasionally I put content in the blog, right? Tutorials, strategies of Hexakai, which is a big one, which I recently updated as well. So be sure to check out hexakai.com or get the Android iOS app to check out some of the other content on the website. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.